Hello, everyone. This is the security working group meeting for March. And our main topic today is, Michael, we wanted you to be here. So we would like to refocus this group on OpenJS projects and maybe go a step beyond just vulnerabilities in these projects. And we would like to better understand the two, I think you said there are two different kinds of working groups we could become.
Yeah, like so in the CPC, there's working groups, which are a bit like the Node working groups, and actually, like in Node, there's working groups and teams, so there's kind of different ways to do it. But the working groups, the key feature in my mind is that the CPC actually delegates some responsibility to the working group. So, if the CPC has an area of responsibility, they will have delegated that to this working group to just basically work fairly autonomously is the idea. Teams are less formal in the Node project, where they're just like, it's a group of people who are getting together, they're working on a particular area, but they haven't necessarily been given responsibility, like formally, to make decisions. So if there was something that was like required a TSC level decision, they would likely go back to the TSC and say, hey, do you think this is the right direction, or whatever, that kind of stuff. Practically, to me, it doesn't really make a huge difference, because the whole project works very collectively and works together and all that. So those are teams and working groups, and so that might, even at the CPC level, forming a team might also make sense. But we have written down and formalized the working group part of things. The other one is collaboration spaces, and where they're a little bit different is they're meant to be a place where people who aren't necessarily as closely tied to the project or the foundation already can come and talk about things that are important to the JavaScript ecosystem. So, I kind of see, and this may not be completely accurate, but in my mind, I kind of see like a team or a working group as a place where, we already have people who are participating in the CPC or in the work, the extended work of the CPC, and they say, well, for the case of working groups, and the one that's charted today is the standards working group, is like, we'd like to go off and have responsibility to work on this, and we're gonna set up a team, a working group to do that. We could set up a team as well. Whereas for the collaboration spaces, I could see it being somebody who isn't necessarily already involved in the the CPC work or the core work of the which was like around onboarding projects and stuff like that. But they want to champion moving forward something which is important to the JavaScript ecosystem. So the first application that we've got that's been approved is one which is around how do we solve the problem where security vulnerabilities are reported. Anybody who uses, so it's reported in X, any module that uses X now has something flagged up. NPM audit or SNCC is saying, well, you have a vulnerability. In a lot of cases, the module hasn't used the attack surface, or so it just doesn't apply, but they're still forced to make releases to sort of squelch those. So that's the focus of that first collaboration space, is to bring people together and to talk about that issue and figure out, like, how can we address that? Like, maybe come up with a pattern that then we hope vendors like NPM and SNCC will adopt, in terms of like, if the package owner creates some metadata that says, no, this isn't apply to me, and we standardize, say, a format on that, they could accept that, and the end user could say, well, if the package maintainers from this and this package have said it doesn't apply to me, I trust them, and so don't report those to me. So that's just a sort of a concrete example of where that was a logical fit. So I guess in thinking of where it makes the most sense, the team part would be like, is there some sort of charter that the group would be looking to? Sorry, a working group would be like, is there something that the team is looking to have delegated from the CPC to that group? Because that's kind of the key thing of why it would be like an actual chartered working group. Otherwise, saying, hey, we'd like to start a collaboration space, we've got a defined process for that. It's basically, you can create repos, you can get support from marketing, and there's just a proposal process where, it's kind of like you say, hey, we're the champions, and here's what we want to try and accomplish, right? The other option would be to just talk to the CPC and say, well, we'd like to, set up a more or less formal, like an informal team. But I since unless there's somebody from the CPC already involved in the like the security working group, which I think there is, like Marcin has been involved there.
In the CPC, I'm not sure.
I think he's participated, in the past. So like if he wanted to sort of champion the, hey, we should form a team, that would be, one way to go as well. But like, anybody could say, well, this is, security is an important area. We want to help to provide, either, I think there was different things that have been discussed. Like we could say, like, just for the ecosystem projects, we would like to provide some sort of support, or it could be, we want to provide guidance and a good pattern and develop a good pattern that could be used by the OpenJS projects, but also would be good for other projects as well, right? That kind of thing, I think could fit in. It could easily fit into the collaboration space as well.
Yes. Yeah, from what I hear, working group is like the last step you would take. And since we haven't been able to meet the past few months, the first step is probably to like have everyone here and discuss what is that we want to do.
Right. What is it? What's the thing to be accomplished?
Yes, and it feels to be a bit like steps, collaboration groups. It's easier you can make, and it's more informal. And then if based on that we see that we have something more permanent, we could move to a team.
Yeah, it's kind of like a team. I think would be easy to form at the CPC level if a bunch of the people forming the team are already involved in the CPC, right? But the collaboration space, but it is I think easier if you're like not already involved in participating there, right? Because it's kind of we've written down like here's how you can come and just start a space, get a repo and that kind of stuff without having to get involved in the general CPC work.
Yeah, that's super useful info. Great. Yeah, I think that clears, at least for me, clears a bit the like what is what, and we'll probably wait for the next month so we can have a more general discussion about, okay, these are our options. What do we want to do?
And I think your key thing is like, what do you want to accomplish, right? I'm sure we can find a home for whatever it is. So if you have some people who are like, hey, I want to champion this and this is what we want to accomplish, then whether it's a team or working group or whatever is less important. It's sort of having a clear understanding of that. And a great way might be just to propose a collaboration space. And then, if the CPC says, oh, that should really be a team or something else, that, that's an easy way to get the conversation started anyway.
Agreed. Yes, I think I have a few ideas about what we could do as a group, but I'm sure everyone will have. So looking forward to having that discussion.
Yeah, for me, I think it's a very important area. And it's kind of like you said, there's lots of different things that we could do. And it's how do we bring together that group of interested people and figure out like concrete things to say we should do X, Y, and Z, right?
Yep, absolutely. Great. That was the main topic for today.
Sure. Okay. No.
And thank you very much for all the information.
Yep. No problem. And yeah, once you figure out what once the group figures out what it wants to do, I'm happy to help. Like if we want to submit a collaboration space proposal or whatever, I can help with that if there's any help needed.
Great. Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yep. Thanks. Have a good day. Talk to you later. Bye.